manganese, molybdenum, nickel, selenium, zinc. So these are all essential nutrients that are required for different biological and physiological functions. And inadequate supply of this can lead to different deficiencies in the human uh, uh, bodies. So where all we need this copper, we need cobalt, we need magnesium, we need iron. Say, for example, if you're talking about cobalt and copper, the copper is again useful for different various metabolic activities. And we're going to talk about iron. We need iron for the production of blood, hemoglobin in our body. Magnesium, manganese, molybdenum, all these are needed for the absorption of the food, the nutrients that has been digested. This has to be absorbed by the cells, and this is done with the help of this less needed metals over there, and these are to be compulsorily should be available in our human body, otherwise that leads to different deficiencies. So having said that, what happens is when these metals becomes too much in the system, that leads to various problems. So what are these various problems? We'll talk about the first one, effect of cadmium on the environment. So where all you have this? Major applications of cadmium include production of alloys, pigments, and batteries. So what do we mean by alloys? Now, cadmium as such cannot be used in any various electrical appliances. So this has to be combined. So for example, cadmium with lead, cadmium with copper, cadmium with different types of elements, the different types of metals over there, that gives us an alloy. And this alloy becomes very hard, and that is used for electrical appliances or different appliances over there. Pigments. Now, when you're going to use this pigment, cadmium is used as an arsenic pigment. This is going to give some colors, and these colors are the one that is going to be used in your LED lights, because nowadays you come up with different types of colors, all the fluorescent colors that we are seeing. All this is because of this heavy metals which are made into pigments, which gives that color to various ways. Say, for example, be it your LED lights, or be it your paints which you use, or be it your colors that is used for the plastic industries. Because nowadays we see that plastics come in various colors over there, and these colors are being produced by this particular metals. It can be cadmium, it can be chromium, it can be different types of metals over there. So that is the pigments over there. And of course, the batteries, we know all the batteries are made up of lead or cadmium or different types of metals over there. So the main route of exposure is via inhalation or cigarette smoke. Because this cadmium is also present in the cigarette smoke. Most of the heavy metals are found in the cigarette, which comes out in the form of a smoke. And more than the person who's smoking the cigarette, the passive smokers, those who are in the vicinity of the smokers, we are forced to take that air inside, and that creates a problem in the passive smokers. Researchers found out that more than the cigarette smokers, the passive smokers are affected with lung cancer, because they take in the most of the smoke inside. They are not able to throw it out. It is being absorbed inside, and that leads to cancers in the passive smokers. So we have to be very careful in the area where people smoke these cigarettes. And of course, ingestion of the food, because this cadmium can get mixed up in the food, or it can also get mixed up in the water, and that goes inside our system. So ingestion of the food can be a cause of this. So this cadmium is also present in trace amounts in vegetables, potatoes, grains, livers, and kidneys in the non-veg items, and of course in some crustaceans and mollusca. And when we eat this, we are affected with excess of cadmium present in our body. And this causes silver, pulmonary, and gastrointestinal irritant. It can also lead to hepatic and renal injury, and sometimes lead to coma. And acute ingestion systems can be abdominal pain, burning sensation, nausea, and vomiting. Sometimes we feel when we are going out somewhere, because of the inhalation of excess of cadmium, we feel like a little bit of nausea or vomiting sensation. And also sometimes shock or loss of consciousness can lead to all these problems over there. And chronic exposure to cadmium, that is when you're going to be exposed to this cadmium over the period of time leads to depressive effects of norepinephrine, serotonin, and all other acetylcholine. All these are the neurotransmitters present in the brain, and that leads to less alertness in the brain over there. So that also can be a problem. So that is the effects of cadmium. Now, I really like this pic, which exposes various problems in the cigarette smoke over there. So when you light a cigarette, what happens is you have a butane that is going to be released, then you have a cadmium over there, then you have the wax that is coated onto this paper, leading to stearic acid, hexamine, barbecue lighter, then you have a toluene, that is the industrial solvents, then you have a nicotine, that is a insecticide, that is used in the insecticide nicotine, then you have ammonia, which is also called as a toilet cleaner over there, then you have a tar that is being present over there, then arsenic is released, carbon monoxide. When you talk about carbon monoxide, when you inhale carbon monoxide, your hemoglobin is having a high affinity for carbon monoxide rather than oxygen. So when you give two gases, one oxygen and carbon monoxide, your hemoglobin is going to get attracted to carbon monoxide more than the oxygen. That is the reason why we have that when there is excess of carbon monoxide in the air. And of course, the methanol and the methane, which is found in the sewer gas, sewages, where you have this methane gas, leads to instant death in some people who inhale excess of methane. And of course, the acetic acid, that's the vinegar that is going to come out. So these are all the various poisonous gases that has been emitted while smoking this cigarette. Okay, so coming to chromium, effect of chromium, it's an essential trace mineral, and there are two forms over there, which is the trivalent and hexavalent chromium. Though trivalent is safe for humans, tetravalent, hexavalent chromium, which is a toxin, that can lead to different problems over there. And trivalent chromium is found in foods and supplements. And what happens when you have chromium deficiency? Chromium deficiency leads to problem in insulin and also athletic performance. So this is used for diabetes because it enhances the usage of insulin over there. And high cholesterol, BP, is also controlled by this chromium. Athletic performance, if you want to have a better athletic performance, you can use this. Bipolar disorder, people suffering from bipolar disorders in the brain, chromium is also used over there. There are different multiple purposes for them. But what are the side effects when you're going to use excess of chromium? This leads to stomach upset, headaches, insomnia, and mood changes because of this bipolar disorders over there. And high doses have been linked to side effects like liver and kidney damage. And this might have a small effect in the brain chemistry also because of its behavioral and psychiatric conditions such as depression and anxiety. So that is the effects of chromium on the human body and the environment. When you're talking about copper, the primary applications here at the side, I have also given you all what is the atomic number and the atomic mass of all these cadmium and the copper and the chromium over there. So you can just have a look into this different types of the atomic number and the atomic weight. So you can see how heavy these are. That is the reason why we are talking about the heavy metals over there, because you can see the atomic mass, what is the weight of this atomic mass over there. Now, the primary effects of the copper, where all you use this copper, they're used in electrical wiring, roofing, plumbing, and industrial machinery. It is also used in agriculture poisons such as algicide in the water purification. You must have come across some advertisement showing that the water purifiers having the copper present in them. So all these are places where we use this copper. And this also helps in making the RBCs because it is very much necessary for the preparation of your red blood cells, and also keeps your nerve cells and immune systems healthy. And it also helps to form collagen in our skin. And also because these are the connective tissues, the bones and the blood is also being performed. It is also acting as an antioxidant, reducing the free radicals that can damage the cells and DNA, and helps in absorbing the iron. So too much of copper can lead to vomiting, nausea, stomach pain, headache, weakness, diarrhea. and a slight metallic taste in the mouth over there. So, and the copper toxicity is rare but can cause heart problems, jaundice, coma, and even death. So you have to be careful with this heavy metals over there. Then talking about antimony on the environment, these are used usually in the fire retardants for plastics, textiles, and rubbers. Pigments, pigments also can be prepared. Pigments is coloring agents that I'm talking about, and it is also used in paper and in making metal sheet and pipes. So acute exposure, that is short-term exposure, is called acute. And if you're going to talk about chronic, it is a long-term exposure. So short-term exposure can lead to irritations in the skin and the eyes. Respiratory effects such as inflammations in the lung and chronic bronchitis can occur over there. And long-term exposure can lead to it goes via inhalation and also can cause different types of problems in the human body. Okay, so then we are going to talk about lead. Lead is one more important. Lead, where we find lead, we find in the batteries, we find in the pencils, and also this is used in toys also. Sometimes the children who play these toys. Nowadays, you get some cheap toys over there. The cheap toys definitely contains lead in them, and these children have a basic habit of putting anything inside the mouth, thereby taking lead within their circulations and leads to different problems over there. And where all other places you use, the lead is used in mining and smelting and battery manufacturers. And this can cause severe damage to brain. That's what I was talking about. When the children, they try to take in this plastic items into their mouth, or sometimes children, while writing with a pencil, they have this habit of putting the pencil in their mouth. That also is going inside. Over the period of time, it's not an instant one, but over a period of time, the lead can damage the brain and also the kidney, and sometimes, very rarely, death. But yeah, definitely, if there is an excess exposure of lead, then definitely this lead is going to cross the blood-brain barrier and leads to lethality over there. Why? Because it is going to degrade the myelin sheets of the neuron and reduces their number, interferes with the neurotransmission route over there. So that is the most dangerous effect of lead. So let's try to avoid buying cheap toys, because cheap toys are the one that is going to have this lead. The next time you buy any toys for their children, because mostly we have to take care of the children, because their brain is more important for us, their IQ level is more important for us. So whenever you're going to buy any toys for them, check for the amount of lead that is present in that particular toys that you're buying them. But otherwise, there are other ways that lead can come into our body. We cannot avoid that. Okay, coming to effects of mercury on the environment. So what's happening over here? Mercury is utilized in the electrical industries like switches, thermostats, batteries, dentistry, and industrial processes for production of caustic soda, in nuclear reactors, antifungal agents for wood processing, and a solvent for reactive and precious metals, and as a preservative of pharmaceutical products. So what is this mercury going to lead to? So it's going to lead to muscle weakness, poor coordination, numbness in the hands and the feet, skin rashes, anxiety, memory problems, trouble in speaking or hearing, or also trouble in seeing. So all these are the effects of the mercury, again because of the heavy metals that is present. So all these metals are unavoidable in the environment, because humans need this in one way or the other. But again, we have to check for all these excess leaching in the water or in the food items. Okay, so the last one is the selenium. Selenium, they might ask you this question about, talk about selenium on the environment. So you're going to talk about, or at least they might ask you to talk a few, one or three heavy metals that is going to cause any problem. So you can just go through that, and you can at least write 3 or 4 in your examination point of view. So where is the selenium used? It is used as an anti-dandruff shampoo and to make pigments for ceramics, paints, and plastics. So you get a lot of ceramic items also, ceramic item in different colors, in colorful colors. So that colorful colors is because of the selenium pigment. We also talked about cadmium and the chromium colors also. So selenium is also one such color. So you can see this color of selenium over there. This is also used for the paints and also in the plastic colorings. The symptom of chronic selenium toxicity is First, you will have this garlicky odor in the breath and metallic taste in the mouth. So whatever you taste, whatever you smell, you have that garlic smell sometimes, and this is because of the excess of selenium toxicity in the food or in the water that we are drinking. And this is followed by gastrointestinal systems symptoms such as nausea, sometimes diarrhea, tiredness, irritability, and joint pain. And acute toxicity present in with acute respiratory distress syndrome. Myocardial infarction can be a problem with the myocardium. Then renal failure, vascular symptoms, and also some neurological features like tremors. There is a shakiness, irritability, and myalgia. That is a muscle problems, muscle pain problems, the myalgia. So these are the effects of the selenium in the environment. Okay, so what is xenobiotics? Now that was about heavy metals. Now we'll talk about xenobiotics. We completed heavy metals and its effects in the environment. Now we are going to talk about xenobiotics. Xenobiotics is a next subheading over there. So what is xenobiotics? So it is a term used to describe chemical substances that are foreign to animal life and also the human life, and includes examples like plant constituents, drugs, cosmetics, flavoring, fragrance, food additives. You name the product that you start using the moment you get up from your bed in the morning. Everything has foreign items in them, and these over a period of time gets accumulated in the human body over there. And a human can expose to millions of xenobiotics in their lifetimes. What is xenobiotics over here again? It's a foreign substance that is getting accumulated and stays in the human body for a lifetime. So that is called as xenobiotics. And when they get accumulated in the body, that leads to different problems. So where all you find this xenobiotics, it can be either in a form of a drugs or in a form of a plastic, because without a plastic, our work doesn't start at all. Say, for example, the buckets that you use, the mugs that you use, the items at home, sometimes they're plastic wares. You have excess food left over, you're going to safeguard in the plastic, keep it in the fridge. The water bottles that you use, the tiffin boxes that you use, everything is plastic, and these plastics has some uh, expiry date. You must have seen that there are some single-use plastics, there are some few months usage plastic, and we don't throw these plastics because we think that it is going to come in use for us in some way or the other, and we safeguard them. And that is the one which you are again using it, and some plastics get mixed up in the food items, and that goes into our system and goes into the circulation, plastics over there. Then pesticides. Without pesticide, there is no food item at all for us. Heavy metals, this can be used for any electrical appliances that we talked about just now. Industrial chemicals, the cosmetics, of course, without a moisturizer or without a makeup, nothing starts over there. So cosmetics are also, because once you apply it onto the external skin, that is going to get absorbed inside, and that is going to stay over there in our system. And of course, the food additives like sodium nitrate and different food additives that you're going to use. So all these are usage that is being used in our daily life. And what happens is this gets accumulated inside the body, and that becomes a xenobiotics. So this picture depicts from where all these can be leached inside the water. So for example, after the usage, some is getting absorbed in the body, and some are getting leached out into the water. And the same water is going to be used for agriculture, going to be used for our consumptions and all those. And again, you're going to take the xenobiotics. So how are we? So what are the different types of xenobiotic compounds that we can see? So there are halocarbons, that is these are some containing one carbon and one or more halogens, such as fluorine, chlorine. All these sometimes are used in your refrigerators and in your ACs, where you use this hydrofluorocarbons over there. So these are halocarbons that is going to be used. Then you have polychlorinated biphenyls, which are organochlorine compounds. Then you have synthetic polymers. Synthetic polymers are the artificial polymers that are being used in the form of nylon, the different types of fabrics where we use the synthetic polymers. Then you need, then we have this alkyl benzyl sulfonates, which are used mostly in the laundry detergents and the kitchen detergents. All these, what is happening in laundry detergents or kitchen detergent? All these, whenever you see this kitchen sink or the laundry where you wash your clothes in your washing machines, all these detergents get accumulated at one place, and sometimes they get clogged. Your sink gets clogged over there, and when you try to clean it up, you find those hard soapy substances that you get. That is all this alkyl benzyl sulfonates, which gets clogged up in our sink, and that again goes into the water, leaches into the drinking water, and again that comes back to us. Oil mixtures and others. So these are all xenobiotic compounds that you come across in your lifetime. Okay, so what is biotic? Many pollutions that are going to cause different problems in us. You have to have some solution for all these things, and here comes the biotechnology, where you're going to use life in technological point of view. That is, instead of using the life form to correct all these problems over there. So here comes our bacteria and some algae, which is going to work as machines for us to clean up the environment over here. So here comes all these bacteria over here. So you have this aspergillus, you have this penicillin, trichoderma, then you have this candida, the coccus over there. So all these bacteria are used to degrade the xenobiotics that are present. So we are going to culture this bacteria, release it into the environment, so that all these bacteria will try to digest the xenobiotics and keep our environment clean. So these are the different types of bacteria that can be used in our human purpose. So that was about xenobiotics. Now we'll talk about a little bit of oil spills. So oil spills, as I told you all, it can be a major problem in the environment, because sometimes what happens due to some accidents in the oil refineries, or accidents when transporting oil by ships and all, what happens, all this oil gets spilled into the ocean, and you can see what havoc it can create to the environment over there. So the aquatic birds or aquatic fishes over there, or you can also see how the oil spills get accumulated over there at the basin, and what all havoc it can create. So how are we going to clean up this oil, or how are we going to stop this oil pollution that is going to occur in the water or in a marine area? So we'll talk a little bit about the bioremediation of hydrocarbons, because these are the ones that are going to be present in the oil spills over there. So the petroleum-based hydrocarbons. So here, petroleum-based can be either biodiesel, petrol. It can be any form which is having this hydrocarbon. So a name over there is petroleum-based hydrocarbons. So these are the major petroleum-based hydrocarbons are acetylene, benzene, ethane, ethylene, methane, propane, naphthalenes, octanes, and camphor. So all these are most important ones. So remember all these: xylene, naphthalenes, octanes, and camphor. We'll talk about all these again. So these are carcinogenic and neurotoxic organic pollutants. And what is a bioremediation for that? Treatment to destroy or reduce the concentration of hazardous hydrocarbons from contaminated site is one bioremediation. The second one is bioremediation process depends on nature of hydrocarbons. You have to understand what is the nature of the hydrocarbon, and also microbial species or enzymes which can control these one. So here we are talking about different types of hydrocarbons. What are they? Acetylene, benzene, ethane, ethylene, methane, propane, xylene, naphthalenes, octanes, and camphor. So all this depends on the nature of hydrocarbons and what is a microbial species or enzyme that you're going to use to control all these type of hydrocarbons over there. So what are these bioremediation of hydrocarbons? So hydrocarbons degraded by consortium or cocktail of naturally occurring hydrocarbon degrading microbes. A cocktail. So here, when you're going to talk about this bacteria, you're going to use not just one type of bacteria, but a cocktail of different types of bacteria put together and are going to prepare one superbug over there. So that is the cocktail of naturally occurring hydrocarbons degrading microbes. So under that, you can talk about examples of Pseudomonas, Arthrobacter, Corneobacter, Mycobacter, and Nocardia. And the enzyme playing major role in this process are methane, monoxygenases, dioxygenase, alkane, hydroxylases. So these are the enzymes that is going to be used to degrade the hydrocarbon. That is called bioremediation. So these are some examples of bacteria, yeast, and fungi that is being used for biodegradation process. So you can just go through the names of the bacteria and yeast and fungi. So enzymatic biodegradation. So what are they? Aerobic and anaerobic type of biodegradation. And then the next one is detoxification, degradation, and conjugation, etc. is a main purpose of enzymatic biodegradation reaction. And aromatic hydrocarbon degradation involves removal of the side chain. So you can remove the side chain, opening of the benzene ring, cleavage of amide, and also elimination of halogen groups. So here comes the halogen groups. What are the halogen groups? We talked about the fluorine, chlorine, and different types of halogens that are going to be present. So all these can be removed, and then carbon dioxide, protein, and water is released from this hydrocarbons. And what is the one that you get is a clean air or clean water that is going to be got from this biodegradation or bioremediation. So here comes the important bioremediation discovery by Dr. Anand Mohan Chakrabarty in 1979, although he has got the patent for this particular superbug over there. So he's the one who had discovered this superbug over there, which was a genetically engineered bacterial strain and are used to enhance bioremediation of oil spills. Although we have different types of technique for cleaning the oil spills in the ocean or in the marine water or in the fresh water, but the discovery of the superbug by Dr. Anand Mohan Chakrabarty was a real usage for environment over there. So what he did was he found out a strain of Pseudomonas putida by genetic cross-linking. So multiplasmid hydrocarbon degrading microbe developed. How did they develop? Developed by containing XLY and NaH. What is this? XLY contains the xylins and NaH contains the naphthalene and toluene. So that is a plasmid over there. Then what he did, what he hybrided those plasmids with CAM and OCT. CAM is a camphor and OCT is an octane plasmid over there. And then with all these four cocktails, he prepared one superbug called the CAM-OCT xylene and NaH superbug. So all these put together was that superbug that he had discovered over there. And this was extensively used for cleaning of oil spills. So you can see how the oil spills have been collected, because collecting an oil spill like this is very much impossible. But we are going to prepare this superbugs. It is going to clean up all the oil stains, that oil spills that is produced in the ocean. So what he did over here, so if you can see this picture over there, first what he did was he took a CAM plasmid and an OCT plasmid. What is this CAM and OCT? So that's an octane and a camphor. So CAM is for camphor and OCT is for octane. He took out that plasmid, he recombined these two and got a CAM-OCT plasmid over there, recombination of CAM-OCT plasmid. Then what he did was he took another two bacteria, the xylene and the naphthalene plasmid over there, XLY and NaH, xylene and naphthalene. He recombined both together and he got a xylene naphthalene plasmid. Then what he did was he made this into a single superbug. That is, he combined these two plasmids to get a solid superbug. That's a CAM-OCT xylene naphthalene plasmid. And this superbug was used to clean the oil spills over there. So how did they do that? Superbug culture was cultured, and then they were mixed with the paddy straws. Then they dried that paddy straw, spread that paddy straws on the oil slicks wherever the oil was spilled. And what it did was the microbes that was present on that paddy straws, they started to degrade the oil in the water. So that is how the treatment started over here, and ultimately we can collect all these excess straws, and then you can clean up the oil. So that is the bioremediation of hydrocarbons, one way by helping with the help of the bacteria. The live organism can also do as this cleaning purpose in the environment. So that was superbug. So remember this superbug. What are they? It is a combination, a cocktail combination of cam plasmid, camphor plasmid, octane plasmid, xylene plasmid, and naphthalene and toluene plasmid. So all these four put together is what we got a superbug called as cam, oct, xylene, and naphthalene plasmid over there, which is again known as a superbug. So that was one type of bioremediation. Now that was a bioremediation of the oil. Now we'll talk about biofuel production. So if you're, because nowadays we are using a lot of fuel. No work is complete without a usage of a vehicle for us. If you want to do any small work, you need a vehicle. So if you need a vehicle, definitely you need a fuel into that, and then only then the machine runs. So all these non-renewable resources are getting used up, and will be left with no non-renewable resources very soon. That is the petroleum or a biodiesel, the diesels that you get over there in the Earth's crust. So what the scientists are doing is they want to, because life cannot stop once the non-renewable resources gets over. So we have to kind of invent or discover some new methods to prepare our fuel to run our machines over there. So of course the electricity also has come into use, but not everything is going to run on electricity. So even for the electricity, you need current over there, and that is also should be produced by different various methods over there. So scientists have come up with biofuel production. What is this biofuel production? That's a microalgae which have long been recognized as a potentially good source for biofuel production because of their relatively high oil content and rapid biomass production. Relatively high oil content and rapid biomass production. Thus, use of microalgae as an alternative biofuel feedstock is gaining increasing interest from the researchers. So, what is this biomass? So, this algae contains three main components. Where is this algae formed? The algae is formed in the water, of course. What are the main components? Carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids and natural oil. So this is what is most important over there. And that is the reason why all the marine animals are able to survive. All the herbivorous marine animals are able to survive because of the consumption of algae. And algae has all these three important components for the sustenance of a life. So because of the bulk of the natural oil made by the microalgae is in the form of triglycerol, which is the right kind of oil for producing biodiesel. So why? Because it is going to have triglycerol, and this is the triglycerol that is being used or produced in the biodiesel. And microalgae are exclusive focus on the algae to biodiesel arena. And the biomass from the algae can also be burnt similar to, that is, after removal of the oil, whatever the biomass is left over, the byproduct, the leftover product is going to be left over. That can again be used in the form of burning purpose. That is similar to wood burning. So how much of heat you can get by burning a wood, that is the same type of heat that you're going to get by burning the biomass. So nothing is going waste over here. So this is going to, which is similar to wood or anaerobically digested. If you're going to burn, you're going to get heat of the wood. Or if you're going to anaerobically digest, they're going to produce methane biogas. This methane biogas is able to generate heat and electricity. So either burn it or you're going to use it in anaerobically digestion form, wherein you're going to get methane biogas. Algal biomass can also be treated by pyrolysis to generate crude bio oil. So this is how the picture of biofuel production can be obtained. So with the help of the sunlight, you are going to produce algae. The algae, what is happening? It is also acting as a carbon dioxide sink. What do you mean by carbon dioxide sink? Because it is going to produce food by photosynthesis. Then all those going to produce food by photosynthesis need carbon dioxide and sunlight. So they're going to clean up the environment by taking carbon dioxide. So almost 50% of our carbon dioxide, 40 to 50% is cleaned by this algae in the water. And once you produce this algae, they are going to be taken to oil extraction units over there. And once the oil extraction units is done, the protein residue, that is the biomass, is produced over there, and the rest is being produced for the biodiesel production over there. And this biodiesel is used for renewable fuel, which is used for your locomotive instruments over there. And of course, the biodiesel is also going to produce glycerin products. The glycerin is again used in various industrial purposes for, say, it can be a pharmaceutical or it can be a cosmetic over there, various necessities. So the whole algae is completely utilized for various purposes over there. So definitely the next gen is going to definitely use this algae for biofuel production. And this is how you're going to produce a colonies. So one such colony is Botryococcus terribilis. This is cultured over here. And once you're going to culture them, you can extract the hydrocarbons present in this extracellular medium. And this extraction can lead to oil and solvent extraction. And the biomass and the other media that is going to be left out, that can be used for different types of digestion for production of methane biogas over there. So this is how you're going to produce a biofuel production. So if they're going to ask you a question on biofuel production, you're going to talk about this algae and how different ways you can use this algae for production. Okay, so the next one, you're going to talk about wastewater treatment. So all these we are talking one by one. What are the different types of environment pollution that we are coming across. So now we are going to talk about wastewater treatment. This is also one of the major problems that you find in our environment, wherein we come across all these problems in our daily life. So wastewater is created definitely by households, institutions, hospitals, and industrial establishment. So we can mostly blame the industrial establishment. Of course, before blaming, if there is no industry, then there is no future for human life. So definitely all these are important, but you cannot avoid the wastewater again. So the sewage treatment aims to remove contaminants from the sewage to produce an effluent that is suitable to discharge to the surrounding environment, or an intended reuse applications, thereby preventing water pollution from raw sewage discharges. So what do you mean by cleaning the wastewater and again reusing it? Where all you can reuse this sewage water that has been cleaned up. You can use this water for watering your plants. You can use this water for coolant. In industries, you need some water for cooling the instruments over there. So you need the water as a coolant. So this cleaned up water can also be again reused as a coolant over there, or for various purposes of constructions and all those purposes. You can use that water over there. So that is where you're going to reuse the water that has been cleaned up from the waste water or the sewage water cleaning up. So based on the principal operation, you are going to talk about 4 types of methods of cleaning the wastewater. That is physical, biological, chemical, and sludge water treatment. Sludges, after the treatment, whatever is left out, that becomes a sludge, something like your marshy area where it's going to form a sludge over there. So that is the sludge water treatment. After cleaning everything, even the sludge can be cleaned up. So what are those forms? First is physical method. In the physical method, this basically is a process of removal of small and large floating substance or suspended solids from the sewage through 2 processes called sedimentation and filtration. Sedimentation is when you collect the water and leave it for some time, all the heavy materials get sedimented at the bottom of the containers over there. That is sedimentation. The another one is filtering. So if you can see in this over here, so you have this filters kept over there, screeners or screens that are kept over there, that stops any heavy metals or any heavy objects from passing into the sewage pipe. So that is first way of filtering any solid items that are suspended in the water. So that is one way of sedimentation and filtration. Firstly, the suspended particles of floating particles are removed by filtration. So this is a filtration. And the filtration is then kept in a large open tanks where suspended impurities are allowed to sediment over there. So that is the physical method. Then the next one is biological method. So the how biological method helps in cleaning. Uh, this is treated by bacteria or microbes that converts the sewage waste into byproducts such as sludge. So that is biological method of cleaning, where the bacteria and microbes are used to clean up the human waste waters. Chemical method, some chemicals are used to sterilize the water so that it does not transmit any kind of infection. What is that? You can use chlorines over there. Chlorine is one method of cleaning with the help of chemicals. You can sterilize the water. Then activated sludge method. So after cleaning all this problem, whatever the sludge that is going to be collected, this can be cleaned by using microorganisms on the organic components of the wastewater. So it can be either anaerobic or aerobic type of cleaning methods, wherein the organic components can be cleaned up in the wastewater. So this is how the raw water, the septic water that is going to be entering into the aeration tank. Why aeration tank? You need some air so that the aerobic microorganism can work on the micro organic components to clean up that organic components. So after aeration is done, it goes into the clarifying settler. In the clarifying settler, all the sediments that is going to be collected, all these are going to be collected as waste sludge over there. And then the treated water goes into various forms of usage. It can be for agriculture purpose, or it can be for watering the plants in the gardens, or it can be used for coolants in the industry purpose. Okay, so this is how a typical sewage treatment unit is going to look like. So you have some specific places where GHMC is constructed, something like this plant over there where all the sewage water is going to be cleaned up, and then the treated water is again left into the drinking water bodies, or it can be used for various other purpose, depending on the type of pollutants that are present in that water over there. So this is a bird's view from top, how this uh, plant looks like for cleaning up the wastewater over there. Okay, so process involved in the sewage water. So you might be asked a question for a major question to discuss about the process involved in the sewage treatment over there. So what is this sewage treatment that we're going to talk about? This is again four different types of sewage cleaning material. That is preliminary treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary or final treatment. So we'll be talking about one by one over here. So what is this preliminary treatment? So preliminary treatment is the first treatment where the wastewater influx comes inside. Then after preliminary treatment goes to primary. After primary treatment goes to the secondary. And after the secondary, it goes to the final stage of cleaning over there. So we'll talk about the preliminary treatment. What is this preliminary? Treatment consists solely in separating the floating materials. It's only you have the screeners over there. The screeners is going to, when the sewage water is passing through, you have the screeners. If you're going to have a closer look, sometimes wherever the effluent water is moving, you will definitely find those screeners present in those places. What it is going to do, it is first going to separate any dead animals or tree branches, papers, pieces of rags, woods, or cloth. It can be anything that is heavy. It is going to first separate them from entering into the water. So this helps in removing oil and greases also sometimes, etc. from the sewage. And the treatment reduces the biological oxygen demand. How? Because you're going to stop all these dead animals and tree branches to go inside this sewage water, thereby reducing the organic increase, organic microbes increase in the water, and thereby reducing the biological oxygen demand in the wastewater. Almost up to 15 to 30%. And the process is used to screening the or removing the floating papers, the rags, and then it goes into the next. So this is the screeners, that is a preliminary treatment. Then it goes into the grit chamber. The grit chamber, where when the water is stable over there, all the heavy metal, the rest of the heavy metal is going to get contained in the sedimentation places over there, and only the water moves into the next tank, that is a sedimentation tank. In the sedimentation tank, any more leftover heavy metals or heavy compounds that are going to be present, they're going to be settling at the sedimentation tank, and the water is going towards the next process, that is the primary treatment over it. So that is the process of preliminary treatment. Then we go to the primary treatment. Before going into the primary treatment, what is happening is there is something called skimming tanks for removal of oil and greases. So if you can see over here, it also removes the oil and greases. How is this oil and greases being done? This is because of the grit chamber and the detritus tanks for removing grit and sand, and also skimming tanks for removing oil and greases. So what is this skimming tank that is going to be used for removing oil and greases over here? So if you can see in this picture over there, when the inlet of the sewage water is going inside, first here, the preliminary screening of all the heavy objects are going to be screened, and whatever the water is going to come from the grit chamber into this chamber over here, there is something called inlet baffles that is present over here, and this is also helps in giving out some air inside them, and there is a skimmers that keeps on skimming the water over there. As you skim the water, what happens is the solids get settled at the bottom, and then whatever the fat or oil or greases are present, they float on top of the water. So that is how you are being able to remove the oils and greases in the water, because of the skimmers. They remove the oil which floats on top. Why? Because oil and greases are low metal, they are not heavy metals, so they're not heavy than the water, so they have to float on the water. And once they float on the water, this is how they are going to be removed over there. And whatever that water that has been filtered goes through this phase, and then they go out as an outlet. So that is skimming tanks over there to remove oil and greases. Okay, so that was preliminary treatment. Now we'll talk about primary treatment over here, how the primary treatment is occurring over there in the grit chamber and into the primary clarifiers. After the preliminary treatment, it goes into the primary clarifiers. So what is this purification done in the primary treatment? So here you can see whatever the primary treatment is, again, here also involves the sedimentation of the solid waste within the water, and this is done by filtering out the large contaminants within the water, and then this is passed through several tanks and the filters that separate the water contaminants. So the resulting sludge from the primary clarifier or sedimentation is then fed into a digester, in which the further processes take place. So if you can see over here, the sludge or the waste that is going to be collected from this primary clarifier, that is, this is the sedimentation tank. The oil and the greases removed over there, the sedimented material that is going to be called as a primary sludge is going to be collected, and this is going to be treated and disposed. This is what he's talking about over here. The processing will be done after the sludge is being collected. So primary waste treatment uses gravity, the gravitational force and the physical process to collect all the sludge over there, which is going to be settled in the water. And the primary treatment that is in the sedimentation tank can be expected to remove 50 to 65% of solid suspense, and 30 to 40% of biological oxygen demand sewage that is going to be present in the water. These are going to be cleaned in the primary treatment. And the organic solids which are separated out in the sedimentation tanks are often stabilized by anaerobic kind of decompositions in these tanks, or sometimes it can be incinerated. What is incinerated? This can be burnt over there. So either by anaerobic decomposition, you can remove the sludges, or by incineration. And this, after incineration, whatever the ash that you are going to produce from that, that is going to be used in the landfills or for soil conditioning, because nothing goes waste. So all those that is burnt, that becomes ash, and that is ash is non-toxic now, and that can be used as a landfills over there. So that's primary treatment. Now we'll go to, after the primary treatment, it goes into the next treatment called the secondary treatment. Secondary treatment is where the aeration can occur, or sometimes it can also be used with an anaerobic treatment also. What are this secondary treatment over there? So the secondary treatment consists of dissolved and non-settling organic solids from the primary effluents. Microbes plays an important role in the secondary treatment. The process involved are anaerobic, aerobic, facultative, stabilization of organic matter, respiration, and synthesis. So what are they? We'll talk about it one by one. So here, in the secondary treatment, whatever the water has come out, a little bit of organic matter that is going to be left out, that is going to be cleaned in the secondary treatment with the help of aerobic or anaerobic conditions. So here, you'll be utilizing bacteria. The bacteria will decompose the fine organic matter to produce clearer effluent. The treatment reactors in which the organic matter is going to be decomposed by aerobic bacteria are known as aerobic biological units. So here, what all you're going to use? You're going to use activated sludge systems. What are the treatments of here? So activated sludge system treatments. Then you're going to have filters over there. Then you're going to have aeration tanks. Then you're going to talk about sequencing batch reactors, and you're going to have aerobic digestions. Then also in this aerobic, you can also talk about anaerobic digestions also. Then you're going to have oxidation ponds and also aerated lagoons. So what are all this? You'll be talking about one by one in a single slides over there. So in the secondary treatment, what is happening is there are two main types of secondary treatment, that is aerobic treatment and anaerobic treatment, and also biofiltration systems. So under aerobic treatment, which is also known as package sewage water treatment, which consists of injecting air into the wastewater to create a healthy population of aerobic microorganisms. So aerobic microorganism itself means that you're going to give some oxygen to the microbes so that they can survive in the sewage, and then you're going to digest all these organic waste contaminants over there. So aerobic treatment units typically consist of three compartments, as you can see in this picture over there. The first compartment is the septic tank compartment, where the inlet from the house or industry or hospitals can occur over there. So the pre-treatment consists over there in the septic tank, and this settles out all the solids under the onto the bottom of the tanks over there. Whatever the filtered water is there, it goes into the next chamber, that is in the middle chamber. The middle chamber is going to contain aeration chamber, where air is going to be diffused into this water tank, and as the air is injected into this chamber, the anaerobic microorganism is going to work on this, and it is going to digest all the organic components over there, and then the clarified water is going into the third compartment, where all the removal of different types of solids or whichever is present over there, it is going to occur in the third chamber over there, and all the clean water is going to get collected into the next chamber over here. That is the last chamber that we are going to talk about. So this three chambers over here we are going to talk about in the secondary treatment. Then you are going to talk about biofiltration. This is one type of filtration under secondary treatment. The next one, you are going to talk about the biofiltration system. What is the biofiltration systems? Here, what happens is, if you can see in this picture, this is going to have a biological film of filtering layer. This is made up of either a peat, if you remember the peat, that is a cotton, the coconut juice that you're going to prepare, powder it. So that's called as a peat. Sometimes you use it for gardening purpose also. Instead of soil, you're going to use as peat. So that is one way of using as a filter media over there. Or this can be prepared by foam, or it can be made up of sand, or it can be made up of any synthetic textile fibers. So what is happening? This forms as a filter media. So this works as a filter media for us. And this is also working as an attachment for growth of aerobic microorganisms present. And then what air is also supplied to this particular filtering chambers over there. And when the raw water or the sewage water is sent on to this filters over there, what happens is the sewage water gets collected. They seep through this filters over there, and as they are seeping through the filters over there, the anaerobic microorganism is going to work on this sewage water with the help of the air that you're letting it inside. And as they are filtering, only the clean water comes, not exactly completely clean, but definitely the filtered water gets collected at the bottom of this particular filtration over there, and this is sent for the filtered water is again sent for various next treatment levels. So that is biofiltrations over there. Then the next one is the activated sludge process. That is, the sludge has to be cleaned up over there. The left out sludge that you collect from the primary treatments over there, that's a sludge. So in this process, the wastewater is mixed with the microorganisms and activated sludge in an aeration tank. So this is a stirrer and an aeration tank. Air is sent inside. This is going to filter or aerate, and microorganism is going to work on that. And aeration provide necessary oxygen for the microbial activity, and the treated waste is then separated into the next chamber called the sedimentation tank, from where the effluent is sent out. That is, the treated water is sent out for the next treatment. So that is activated sludge process. This is one more type of filtrations over here. This is coarse, the sand. You can also use sand acid. So here you're going to use, first you're going to fill up with a fine brown sand. On top of that goes another size of the fine brown sand. And then on top of it goes a coarse gray, that is heavy rocks or heavy sands that you're going to prepare. So these are the 3-layer sand that you're going to prepare in the bed. And then when you release your sump water or the sewage water, the sand is going to completely filter the water over the sewage water over here, and the filtered water is going to get collected, and you're going to provide a vent for the air to escape from this particular stratified sand polishing filters. Then the next one is a trickling filters. Trickling filters is somewhat like what we talked about, this type of biofiltrations over there, the trickling water. So what happens is, here the pipe is fitted in such a way that the water is trickling over the bed of sand. So this is a crushed stones or pebbles that has been kept over here. So these are the filters, sand filters or pebble filters over there. And as the water gets trickled, the sewage water gets trickled, the sand is going to, the soil or the pebbles are going to filter the water with the help of the air that is being sent inside, and the filtered water gets collected over there, and this goes for the next type of filtration. So that was one type of filtration. Then the next one is sequential batch reactor. Sequential is one sequence, one after the other sequence of filtration is what you call about in sequential batch reactor. You might be asked this for a short question. Describe sequential batch reactors over there. So what is happening over here? Inlet of the you have different processes: fill, react, settle, and decant. So these are the different sequences of water filtration. In the fill, you're going to fill the sewage water in the fill up tanks over there, and you're going to mix it with the air and mixtures of microorganisms. And what is happening over here, after some time, with the help of a mixer and an air, which is present in the reactor, this is going to allow the sedimentation to occur in the settling areas over there. So all the sedimentation or the sludge is going to get settled on the bottom, and the water that has been filtered is going to get collected over there. And this collected water is going to go into the draw tanks. In the draw tanks, little more sediments that are present is going to get collected over there, and whatever the treated water is going to be, it is going to be utilized. And this goes, the sludge goes into the next cycle of the cleaning purpose over there. So that is sequential batch reactor cleaning up process over there. Then we are left with two more, that is oxidation pond and also the aeration lagoons over there. The oxidation ponds are large, shallow ponds designed to treat wastewater through the interaction of sunlight, bacteria, and algae. So what you're going to do is they're going to prepare a pond, a small pond, where all this sewage water is going to get collected into that pond. And in the pond, what happens is, with the help of the sunlight, bacteria, and algae, the algae is going to grow within the pond and utilize the sunlight to produce oxygen. during the photosynthesis. So oxygen is produced. This oxygen is utilized by the aerobic bacteria, and they are going to degrade the organic waste in the water. And all the broken down solids settle down at the bottom of the pond, and the water is going to get filtered over there. So that is one way of filtering, cleaning the water by oxidation ponds. And all this filtered water is going to get collected and discharged into the river, or also it can be used for irrigation or aquaculture or water for animals to be utilized. Then the last one is the aerated lagoons. So sometimes you must have seen some places where you have large water bodies, something like this, the constructed one over there, and they're going to let all the sewage water inside this. And what is happening is they're going to aerate this water. Can you see the bubbles in the water over there? Now, this bubbles is because of the aerated machines that are going to be produced. So these are the aerators that are kept in the water. And this supplies, the aeration supplies the oxygen into the water bodies, and this helps in aerobic organism to work on it. Now, as the aeration is occurring, the organism is going to work on it, and as the organism, microorganism are going to work on it, improved aerations, better oxygen supply, better biological kinetics, and smaller lagoons will help in cleaning the water completely. So this is aerated lagoons. This is in contrast of waste stabilization ponds, where the oxygen required for stabilizing the organic matter is furnished by algae, and oxygenation is provided by aerated lagoons. So this is one type of cleaning up of the wastewater over there. So that was about cleaning of the wastewater in different methods. So we talked about preliminary treatment, we talked about primary treatment, we talked about secondary treatment. Then we're going to talk about the last treatment, that is a final treatment over there. Before going into the final treatment, we'll talk a little bit about anaerobic treatment. So when you're talking about aerobic, we are also supposed to talk about anaerobic treatment. The anaerobic treatment uses those processes in which microorganisms oxidize organic matter without the presence of dissolved oxygen. So in case you're not able to provide oxygen, or you're not able to provide aerations in the tank, so you can use it for anaerobic type of treatment. The microorganisms obtain oxygen from inorganic salts containing bound oxygen, such as nitrates, sulfates, and phosphates. So these are the ones that is going to provide oxygen for this anaerobic kind of microorganism. And this mode of operation is known as anaerobic, in which it is when it is physically challenging or economically impractical to introduce sufficient dissolved oxygen into the waste over there. So this is how you're going to provide a large biogas plant can be used for this anaerobic type of treatment. So this is the inlet where all the wastewater is going to get collected in this large biogas containers over there. And when all these are going to get collected over here, the anaerobic microorganism is going to work on this. They're going to digest all the organic material, and they are going to release this biogas. And this biogas released is going to be contained into a pipeline, where this biogas can be used for the heating purposes at home. So this is also used in some villages over there, the biogas pipelines, where this can be used as cylinders for cooking purpose also. So that is one type of treatment of waste in the form of anaerobic treatment over there. Now the final treatment is chlorination after the preliminary, primary, secondary, and this is the final stage. So all the water that was collected after all this process of treatment, now this treatment goes into the final treatment called the settling, the chlorination treatment, where the water is cleaned by chemical mechanism, the chemical compounds, that is by using chlorination. Once you are mixing the water with chlorine chlorination treatment, this is going to remove all the pathogenic bacteria that is still present in that water, and then this chlorinated water can be released into the lake, ponds, or this can also be used in the next process for the household usages or different types for agriculture purpose and all those. So this is what the wastewater treatment was occurring. This might be asked in a major question to talk about wastewater treatment. So you're going to talk about all these four processes to completely write this answer over there. Okay, now coming to a little bit of information of about beneficial bacteria. So when you're talking about this beneficial bacteria which are going to be used, because you're talking about a biotechnology, then definitely you'll have to talk a little bit about this beneficial bacteria, which helps in removing the toxic substances over there. So what are these? Pseudomonas, the flavobacterium, the chromobacters, the nitrosomonas, the desulfo, vibrio. So all these are the pictures that we have kept over here. So these are some of the beneficial bacteria that can be used for anaerobic or nitrifiers over there. Okay. Now next comes the another way of treating the organic waste materials over there. That is usage of earthworms. So here again, when you're talking about biotechnology, you're going to use earthworms in managing the organic waste materials over there. So that is what is usage of earthworms in the organic waste management. So you can see in this picture very clearly. Once you are growing a food, the after using the food, the scraps, the peels, and all those extra food that is being left out is being collected in the scraps. Now, this scraps goes into the composting area where earthworms tries to compost all this organic matter, and what you get is a fertilizers. And this fertilizers again goes back to the soil for the production of the plants, and this plant is again going to give us the food, and this is again going to go for the cycle. So this is the compost life cycles that you can find, wherein you're not going to allow the organic waste to degrade and letting an foul smell emanating from them, and those saprophytes or the bacteria that releases foul smell in the environment. To curtail all these problems, you'll be using earthworms in waste management, that is organic waste management. So we'll talk a little bit about how these earthworms are going to help us. So you might be asked a question about talk about a little bit about vermicompost. So you're going to talk about this vermicompost topic over here. So what is this? Whatever the human being habitats, wherever you find human being habitats or animals, they are going to generate huge load of organic waste. So simple example is when you're going to talk about at home itself, in our home itself, if you can try to collect the waste that you get on one day, that is from morning till night, whatever you cook, whatever you're using for food, and whatever the food that you're going to give your animals, all those waste that can be collected, you'll be collecting a huge amount. So that gets collected again and again and again on a daily basis. You can imagine what type of organic waste that we are going to collect in our kitchen. So that we just simply, you must have seen some people just carry those waste and then just throw it onto the open environment over there. And in an open environment, now that it's a rainy season, you have lots of microbes growing on them. You have all those pigs, the dogs, the cows that are going to eat on them, and they're going to excrete over there. All those contamination occurs in the open field, and that is an open invitation for the flies to come over them. Come the month of August, July, August, you are going to attract a lot of house flies, and that house fly sits on that excreta, comes back to our home, and that is going to contaminate our food. So all these contaminations can occur because of this human waste that has been excreted outside. So to curtail all those toxic material, not exactly toxic, when you throw this organic material, that becomes toxic when you leave it into the open area. All this can be curtailed by using a technology called vermicomposting technology over there. So what is vermicomposting? It's a bio-oxidative process in which earthworms intensively work on the microorganisms in the decomposer community, accelerates the organic matter by stabilizing with modified physical and biochemical parameters over there. And the vermicomposting differs from the conventional composting because the material is processed by the digestive system of the earthworm. I want you all to underline that last two lines. The vermicomposting differs from the conventional type of composting. What do you mean by this conventional type of composting? In a conventional type of composting, what we do is we collect all this and leave it for the microorganisms to work on it in the open air. Now, when the microorganism is going to work on it, this is going to release that foul smell. So that is the reason why whenever you pass through any uh, garbage area, you have that foul smell coming out from that place. Is because of the microorganisms working on it and releasing the gases that are going to be released outside. And also sometimes incineration can also occur when you're going to burn this organic material. You are also releasing all the toxic gas coming out from this organic materials that goes and spoils the air around us. So all this can be curtailed with the help of this vermicomposting. Why? Vermicomposting uses earthworms, and what is this earthworm going to do? They are going to digest the organic matter within the digestive system, and they're going to release something called excreta, and that excreta is called as a humus, and that is the one that is going to be rich in nitrogen and carbon. That is going to be again rich for fertilizers. So that is how you're going to curtail some of the organic toxicants that is going to be produced outside with the help of the earthworm. So how are we going to do this? This earthworm vermicompost can also be taken as a small scale industry by students like y'all. This needs a small space, and what you ultimately get is a black gold. I keep telling my students over here, you can talk about this in a small scale industries, because people are getting very conscious nowadays with their health, and they want all organic. So whatever nowadays, wherever you see this people, they talk about organic vegetable, organic fruits, organic products. You can say cereals, the celeries that you get in the supermarkets over there, they say organic, and they also have a higher rate for this organics over there. So here you can produce this vermicompost and sell it to different people over there, so that you are making gold, the gold out of nothing. That's what I can say. What is nothing over here? All the leftover food items, or all of the leftover hospitalized byproducts, or hotel byproducts, or paying guest byproducts. You can have a tie up with these organization. You can collect all those waste materials. You're going to just put it, dump it into your vermicompost area, and you're asking the earthworms to work on it, and ultimately within a month or a two, you are going to produce vermicompost, which is called as black gold. So you're investing nothing, but you're getting more over there. So that is what is vermicompost in biotechnological process. So coming to what are the importance over there. The vermicompost alters the soil fertility in different ways, such as it has a better porosity, the air gaps over there, so that the air can move inside. Bulk density, water holding capacity. It is going to give a proper pH in the water. Electrical conductivity, phosphorus and potassium content is going to be present in them. So with all these can increase the soil fertility. And the application of this vermicompost enriches the soil microorganisms, and also nutrient content of the yield is also going to increase over there. But there is a note over there. What is a note over there? Having said that vermicompost is going to increase the soil fertility, sometimes you get these bags of fertilizers, vermicompost fertilizers. What we gardeners do, all those who love gardening at home, we try to add excess amount of vermicompost in our garden pots. And after some days, you will find that there is a delay in the plant growth, or sometimes excess of this nutrients will kill the plants over there. So sometimes you see, you feel that even though you're taking care by adding proper vermicompost, enough vermicompost, the plants are not going to grow. Why? Because you have added excess of vermicompost and excess of nitrogen, phosphorus present in the soil will try to delay or kill the plants over there. So you have to be very careful in adding how much of amount is required. By trial and error method, you will have an understanding of how much you have to use this vermicompost. Okay, so what are the different types of earthworms that is going to help us in this particular vermicompost? So you have this Icenia fetida. So this is Icenia fetida. Mostly in Indian vermicompost, we use this Icenia fetida earthworm. Then you have this Udrilus eugene. So this is an Udrilus eugene, and the Perionyx excavatus. Excavatus, the name itself, they excavate into the soil. So these are the earthworms that you can use for your vermicompost. Not all earthworms will be helpful in producing vermicompost. There are only few species. Under this few species, you're going to use only these three type. That is the Icenia fetida, Udrilus eugene, and Perionyx excavatus. Why? Because all earthworms cannot produce vermicompost, because these are the earthworms that is going to feed on the organic matter. When you're talking about other earthworms, those other earthworms feed on soil fertilizers, the fertile soil. Wherever you have those nutrients over there, they are going to eat that. They are not going to produce any vermicompost. But these are the ones that are going to produce vermicompost. Why? Because these are the one that is going to eat, or they're going to feed on the organic matter that is present in the soil over there. So that is preferred ones over there. So among these, the red earthworms are preferred because of its high multiplication rate, and thereby converting the organic matter into vermicompost within 45 to 50 days. So that's what I was telling you. Within 1 or 2 months, you're going to produce black gold out of nothing over there. So since it is a surface feeders, it converts the organic material into vermicompost. So these are the layers. What is a procedure over here? We'll talk about this procedure in the next slides over there. So this is the procedures over there. And after the composting is done, vermicompost cast are to be harvested after they have completed. That is every 2 weeks or 3 weeks you can harvest it. And by 120 days, you are going to have a complete compost, dried compost. You can pack it and sell it for people who need this particular vermicompost over there. So the vermicompost methods is of two types: heap method and tank method. So you can undergo these two types of method. Heap method, that is, you're going to make a heap out of organic waste, and you're going to construct some tanks over there to prepare this tank method of vermicompost. We'll be talking about various methods in heap method and also various method in tank method. So whichever is convenient for you all, you can utilize this type of procedures for doing this particular type of vermicompost. So here you need what are the ingredients you need? You need plant material, you need the chopped ones, 3 parts. You need green matter, that is the leafy vegetables that have been thrown. Then you need cow dung, you need soil, and you need latex, leaves of latex, that is those plant that produces milk. The moment you cut a leaf, you find some leaf milk coming out of that. That is a latex over there. Example is Calotropis plant that is going to produce this latex over there, and a wooden pole that has to be kept in the center of this compost over there. Okay, so preparation over here. So what you're going to do it, layer course of plant materials at the base, that is 3 into 3 feet. You're going to prepare a 3 into 3 feet, and you're going to lay this coarse plant materials over there, which allows the drain out of the excess of water. Why? Because you have to keep moisturizing the water, because earthworms need moisture. If it is going to be dry, they are going to die. So you have to keep moisturizing. By adding some water, you're going to keep moisture content present in that particular heaps. You're going to insert a pole in the center. Why? You're going to loosen over there. You're going to allow some air to escape or go inside. So that is, it helps in aeration purpose. Then you're going to add a thick layer of well-moistened dry matter, a handful of foreign soil, forest soil, giving fungal life to the compost, and you're going to also lay 2 leaves of Calotropis, that is the latex giving leaves on either side to produce heat for fast decomposing. Pour some slurry of water on top to activate the bacterial life. Then you're going to add another thin layer of green layer, that is a layer of grass, green layer, grass, green layer. So they are going to make a slurry, the steps over there to aeration purpose, and also to release the heat, and also to for the earthworm to work on them. Then you're also going to add, what is the slurry? The slurry is going to contain the cow dung slurry. So you're going to take cow dung, mix it in water, and you're going to spray it on top of the organic material, so that the cow dung is the first form of food for the earthworm. They're going to eat that first, and by as and when they are eating, they're also going to eat away the organic material that you have fed onto this heaps over there. And then you're going to allow it to decompose, and it takes about 12 weeks to 3 months to get the compost ready. And once the compost is ready, it becomes very dark in color. When the compost becomes dark in color, you can say that is the best type of compost, and you can collect that, and you can dry it and sell it for various organizations over there. So when you're talking about this various types, you can talk about the pit, tank, and cement rings. So the pit is made up of 1 meter deep and 1.5 meters wide over there. This can be made up of the normal brick construction, or an asbestos, or different types of hollow bricks can also be used to construct this. Different dimensions can also be used. So here in this tank, you're going to make a dimension of 1.5 meters, that is 5 feet uh, dimension feet tanks over there, with a width of 4.5 meters and a length of 0.9. And then you can add all whatever the organic material you're going to add, and you're going to allow the um, earthworms to compost all this particular organic material. So that is one pit type. Then when you're talking about the large scales in the pit type, you're going to talk about the windrow system, raised bed, and flow through systems over there. So what is this windrow system? Windrow system is the heaps that you're going to prepare like this. You're going to have a large land over there. In that large land, you're going to make these heaps of them. I talked about the heap method. So this is a heap method. You're going to collect all this organic material in the heap format, allow the earthworms to work on it, and this is called as a windrow system type of method. I'm not going to talk about all this. You're going to just go through that when you're going to read it. It's going to be easy for you all. So I just gave you all the matter over there for writing in your examination point of view. Okay, so that is windrow system. Then you're going to talk about the raised bed earthworm. In a raised bed, you're going to construct some brick like this. You're going to raise it from above the ground level over there. That's called as a raised bed method. And then you're going to prepare all this material. The procedure how to add the organic material is going to be the same. And then after adding everything, you're going to release the earthworm on top, and the earthworm is going to easily move inside, and they're going to eat away all the organic material and give you all the compost over there. So this is the raised bed method. So you're going to construct a bed that is going to be raised. So you can see this is one type of raised bed method. Instead of the windrow where you kept it on the land itself, you're going to use such type. This is going to help in avoiding any rainwater leaching. If there's a excess of rainfall, if there's excess of wind blowing, this will not be blown away. It's going to be contained in the boxes over there. So that is a raised type of constructions over there. And you have this flow through system. In the flow through system, what you're going to do is you're going to construct some heaps like this. And once you're going to add one heap over there, you're going to add earthworms over there. And once the earthworm is going to feed on them, after feeding them, then you're going to add the next organic material over there. The earthworm is going to slowly go away to the next one, because they have completely digested organic matter. And then from there, it is going to move to the next heap over there. And after converting the organic matter to vermicompost, it is going to go to the next heap where you have added your new organic material of it. That is called as flow through system of earthworms over there. So that is one type of system that you can use. Then you're also going to construct a 4-tank system or a 2-tank system. This construction is for low, it's not on a high heavy or more amount of heaps over there. This can be done for kitchen background of the kitchen, or small scale industry where you can use this type of constructions over there. So that is a 4-tank. You can see this is a 4-tank system. You can construct the 4-tank with this bricks, or it can be an asbestos sheet over there. And also what you're going to do is you're going to add all this organic material. Why 4 tanks over here? It is easy to handle them, and you can easily turn over, because each time you have to add this organic material, you're going to turn the organic material so that the earthworm can get moved out and they get proper organic material that has been settled underneath. You're going to keep moving them. So that's a 4 tank system over there. And the loading of the biodung and the vermi bed should also be maintained properly over there. Then this is a 2 tank system. If you have a very small area in your kitchen backyard, you can use this two tank system also, which is 1 into 1 into 1 type of dimensions that you can construct over there. This is also used for household garbage, because you're going to have excess of household garbage every week. If you can't collect all the organic material that you have produced in the household, you are going to have a heap of it. You can do this system in the background backyard itself, and you're going to have your own type of fertilizers. You can use that same fertilizers to grow your vegetables, because nowadays, given the rates that you have in the vegetables, everything soaring so high, you can have your own garden at home itself to produce your vegetables, or it can be fruits, or various green leafy vegetables you can grow in your backyard itself by producing your own vermicompost. So this is about the 2 tank system. And what is the requirement? You're going to take care of the temperature. The temperature shouldn't go beyond 30 degrees. You have to maintain at 25 to 29 degrees. If it is going to go beyond that, then definitely the earthworms are going to die. You're going to give proper aeration. Air circulation has to be done. That is the reason why you're going to cut coarser bedding, such as chopped leaves, are to be done. Not very tiny, a little bit larger one, so that air can pass through. So thereby you're giving aeration or air circulation into this compost. And then moisture has to be maintained at 50 to 60%. The moisture shouldn't be very slurry like thing. It should be crumbly moisture. When you touch the soil, you should feel the moisture, but it should not be like a drainage over there. So it has to be a little bit less, but when you touch the soil, you should feel that moisture content. Then the pH also has to be maintained. The earthworm goes in a pH range of about 5.5 to 8 pH for commercial production, that is a heavy production. The earthworm bed should be kept at 6.8 to 7.2. So these are some requirements that you have to maintain when you're doing this vermicomposting. A little bit of trial and error method will definitely help you all in making you all a better vermicompost production. So let's hope some of the students will definitely start up this vermicomposting in your backyard, and you can see you will be very happy to see the results when you see that dark brown humus that you get collected, and you can just keep collecting them, and you can use it in a litter purpose. It's not that you have to collect it and put it immediately into the soil. You can collect them, dry them, pack them in the boxes, and whenever you want, you can just use those vermicompost for as a natural fertilizers, and slowly you can start selling them also as a small scale industry. So these are the different types of earthworm that I was talking about. Utrilus eugene, the Icenia fetida, which is also called as a red wrinkle or tiger worm, and then you have this Perionyx excavatus. So this was about the environmental biotechnology that we talked about, and how we are going to reduce the pollutions in the environment. So I hope this topic was interesting for you all. Any questions, students?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Right. So I hope it was interesting. Yeah, tell me, Mahnilima.
Madam, is there any procedure to separate aerobic and anaerobic in the water sewage treatment plant? Why? Because anaerobic bacteria, if we add oxygen, they will be unable to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the reason
why.
That is the reason why you're not going to mix both together. So when you have a chance of giving aeration to your sewage cleanup, then definitely you can do this, because you're going to collect all this because in an aerobic condition, you're going to collect that water again for reuse. In an anaerobic condition, you're not going to use that water again. You're going to convert all that into an biogas, where this biogas is used for the gas purpose in the villages. So they use this biogas for cooking purpose and all those stuff.
Okay.
So that you can't mix aerobic and anaerobic over there. So you have, when you have a chance to give aeration to the tank, then definitely you can use aerobic kind of filtration. But where you're not able to do give the aeration, then you can use it as an anaerobic type of filtrations over there.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more doubts, ma? So again, I'm telling you all, if you all are having any doubts, you can contact me on my WhatsApp number or the group you have. You can just post the questions over there in the group. I will try to answer all those questions in the group. Okay. So all the best for your exams and all the best for your future students. See you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.